At long last, we've got classic original Disneyland on Main Street, but it also means more refurb in the park. Like Jolly Holiday, it's going through a shocking makeover. Haunted Mansion is closed, there's a missing tree, green water in the river, and movement at the Avengers Campus e-ticket. It's happening. But first, let's get back to the main entrance and check in on those gates, where it's just like it was in previous weeks. We are now going on, 4 weeks, I think, maybe 5, of the gates being open, but still in this sort of preliminary testing stage where they have cast out there manually still scanning your tickets as you enter, just like they did before, just in a different way. But yeah, we're still not into the full-on testing stage of the actual scanners. We still actually don't have the exit sign working. You know, the digital displays up there, those are not working as well. Meanwhile, things are the same across the Esplanade over at California Adventure. They're also, you know, those far right entries are open, but scanning manually as well. We'll head inside the gates to get our possibly last actual shot of the Disneyland Railroad. This might be it for about 3 months, because it closes on January 13th, and I don't think I'll be in the park before then. So the Disneyland Railroad is going down for another refurb, which we believe is track replacement. So just be aware that the train station will be closed. All train stations will be closed for about 3 months. I'm going to miss this. I'm going to miss this train a lot. I will be rejoicing for sure when she reopens. Meanwhile, on Main Street, check out Town Square and Main Street. No tree, no Christmas tree in sight from Town Square, which is a wonderful thing. I mean, I do love Christmas, and I'm sure everybody would agree with me that Christmas is a beautiful time of the year, but there are just times when you just want to see classic original Disneyland, and that's what we have for a little while now. They're probably going to replace this area here, by the way, where the tree was, with some flowers later, but for now it's just a plain planter. No sign of Christmas anywhere on Main Street or in Town Square. Everything looks original and classic, just pure Disneyland. And like I said, there's a certain quality to that makes you miss it when it's gone, and you're happy to have it. Things will start changing again around springtime. There is a little bit of maintenance still happening. We are in refurb season, so there's some maintenance happening on Main Street, a little paint, a little trim, but otherwise things are quite normal here. You can see they've taken out all the Christmas decor here at the hub. None of the poinsettia or the reds or the whites. Now it's just a kind of traditional mix of greens and floral colors. No decorations or anything on on Sleeping Beauty Castle. The snow is not a Christmas decorations, for those wondering. The snow and the little icicles, those are considered wintertime decorations. So those will probably be up for a little while still. They also show up a little earlier than Christmas does. So this is, a standard look for Sleeping Beauty Castle. Now, I don't mean to shock you, but next we're going to look at the Jolly Holiday Bakery Cafe. And we had been reporting that this was going to be closing for a little while. I thought it was going to be just back of house, paint and polish inside. But we are under full construction walls. Scaffolding has been put up, and I'm sure scrim is next. So this will be completely covered. This is a very invasive looking update for Jolly Holiday. My guess is that they are going to be painting the exteriors as well as replacing. I mean, if you're putting up scaffolding in this part of the building, it's most likely because you're going to replace the roof. So expect those shingles to be replaced. I'm not sure how visible it'll be, how apparent it'll be when they're done, but I always do enjoy when they do these things because it shows a commitment to the quality and their desire to make the park look always brand new. It always looks new. Disneyland does, especially Main Street. Does not get enough credit. You walk into any other theme park and you will see visible signs of decay and disrepair on a regular basis, no matter where you go. But Disney never looks that way because they are always taking care of their park. So I appreciate that very much. I want to note that here. Same thing as we did when they were updating City Hall, and the Main Street facades. It's very appropriate, and I'm grateful for them doing this. I will miss the Jolly Holiday, to be sure. For those who particularly enjoy breakfast at the Jolly Holiday, you can see they have signs that says, enjoy our other Main Street restaurants. What they're alluding to is Refreshment Corner. You can find some of your favorite Jolly Holiday treats at Refreshment Corner now, including breakfast. Refreshment Corner is serving breakfast. There you see the scrambled eggs and cheese croissant, a regular butter croissant. They are serving the Matterhorn macaron also. the Mickey-shaped cookie, some muffins, and for those who like the raspberry macaron, you can get that over at the Gibson Girl. So if you're looking for Jolly Holiday treats, just go next door to Refreshment Corner, and that includes breakfast. No word yet. I don't think they're going to be getting the grilled cheese sandwich, I'm afraid to say, or the tomato bisque. But there's hope. But right now they're not serving any of the lunch items. But we can be hopeful. Let's go to New Orleans Square next, where the Haunted Mansion is closed. It closed on January 7th and will reopen on January 18th. In the few days that it's being closed, they've already taken down all of the Nightmare overlay decorations on the exterior. Jack Skellington's gone. They removed everything from the facade of the Haunted Mansion itself. So it looks it's kind of breathtaking when you look at it, because it's been so long since we've seen it. It's kind of breathtaking to look at, the original, just like Main Street, the original Haunted Mansion. And there you see the Hearst undecorated, no Christmas decorations anywhere to be seen, anywhere, no Nightmare overlay anywhere to be seen. One thing that we will mention here, and this is going to be a fairly important topic within the next week that not a lot of people are talking about. It's getting just a little bit of run. We did a video on Fresh Baked Presents talking about this, but it is our expectation that we will be getting a new bride. A new bride will be appearing in the Haunted Mansion when it reopens, possibly a new scene altogether. So keep an eye out that, and be stay tuned to Fresh Baked, because it is our goal to be there on that January 18th to capture the Haunted Mansion, an attraction that hasn't been open since August of 2023, the original Haunted Mansion, since August of 2023, and hopefully to see a new bride and perhaps maybe some other scenes. Who knows? I doubt it, but one thing we do know for sure is, well, not for sure, but we are very confident in that there will be a new bride in the attic at the Haunted Mansion. Stay tuned. One thing that came to mind when I was observing the Haunted Mansion closure this week, and the fact that it's going to be down for 10 days, is that's possibly a reason why Pirates of the Caribbean is still on Lightning Lane. I'm going to hold out hope. I keep trying to be optimistic. I'm going to hold out hope that when Haunted Mansion does open again on June 18th, that's when they might hopefully consider taking Pirates off Lightning Lane and having it be just a pure standby attraction, the way it should be. The way it should be. We'll keep our eyes and ears open, hoping that that's the case. Getting back to New Orleans Square, let's check in on the ongoing soap opera that is Madame Leota's Somewhere Beyond. Last week, we reported they took down the AI art. This week, we are reporting that they have replaced it with something else. They've replaced it with a framed arrangement of these seance cards. They're graphic images on these cards, kind of like tarot, but not. And at first, I thought, well, that's kind of meh. That's kind of average looking. It's kind of not exciting or anything like that. It certainly isn't anything that is representative of the history of Haunted Mansion. And also we can observe that it's just one of three now, or maybe more. There could be a fourth one over there. There were already several of these in different states up there in the top part of the gift shop. So it's less than what I was hoping for. But as I mentioned in previous videos, the internet is undefeated. And if they spot any sort of, they will spot any sort of cheat or shortcut that Disney might make, or really anybody. These seance cards are actually purchasable online at a variety, I'm sure, of internet sites like Etsy type sites. This one is from Shawcross Yard. You can buy this for the low price of $50. And it is literally the exact same set. So these were purchased also. Now, I will say, again, as we've mentioned in the past, this does not bother me. This is not new business. This is not like a new thing that Disney's doing it and they're doing it all on their own. In fact, we mentioned in the past there's that veiled bust, the white veiled bust. Here's a real twist on that story. That bust appears in the Haunted Mansion film. Somebody noticed this on Twitter, and it cracked me up because, like, what do we do now? What are we supposed to react? And what are our feelings now? Are we supposed to say, okay, and I mean this as a joke. I'm not being serious. I'm joking because I feel like we get a little too carried away. We get a little too caught up in what is correct and not correct. But the fact that this bust existed prior to the Madame Leota's book or seance, Madame Leota's Somewhere Beyond gift shop years ago, a couple years ago, this, that bust appears in the Haunted Mansion film, the live action film. So does that give it authenticity? The fact that it's a screen used bust, or does it make it canon? Is it now good theming as opposed to bad theming? Again, it's more of a rhetorical question I ask. Basically what I'm saying is I'm just going to move on. I don't really care. It's fine. If they want to do this, that's fine. That's the world today. That is what it is. So I'm not tripping. Nor am I going to trip about the Seance Oracle cards being used. I think it would be cool if they could put a little bit more, historical references in there, but it's okay if they don't. I'm not going to be upset about it. We mentioned a new bride in that previous discussion about the Haunted Mansion being closed. Here's a sneak peek at what we believe the bride will look like. Stay tuned or go watch our Fresh Bake Presents video on that topic. Wanted to note also, there has been some reports on social. I saw people complaining that the crystal ball thing wasn't working. It might not have been in that moment, but it is working. That is definitely working. And so too is this Madame Leota orb that you can purchase that repeats the seance speech, which I love this. This is great. We'll continue staying in New Orleans Square. Across the way, the Mark Twain is in dock over there at the Harbor Galley. It's going to be down for a few days, but the fact that there's no scrim or anything like that around it suggests that it's not a very invasive update, that they're not doing anything major. It just went through a very long refurb, so I think this is just a small thing. You've got some where you can see that they are doing some kind of work on the boat, but it's nothing major. We should see this thing back in line in short order. While we were in the area of the secret path, I just wanted to show you guys this. We mentioned this in our State of Disneyland report. That's a green river of America. The rivers of America are green, and you can kind of see the tonal quality, the change between the two, between the Tiana's Palace water and the river water. I'm not sure that this isn't a complaint. I'm not like trying to shake my fist or anything. I'm sure there's a reason for it. I just find it curious and would love to know what that could possibly be. What they're, what could be happening here. And I talk about it in the State of Disneyland report, where I feel like there is something. The river does need some work, and especially with relationship to Fantasmic, the river needs some work. So be on the lookout for something to happen here in the near future. Meanwhile, we will check in on Tiana's, which was not operating. No sight of any boats in the water, no sounds. So Tiana was having a rough day on this morning. But I still feel like she's been getting better. We're hearing less and less, issues of breakdowns or delays happening here. The wait times have been pretty steady, around 60, 70 minutes. If you get there in the morning or in the evening, that's the best time to ride Tiana's right now, or whenever it's cold. Whenever the coldest temperatures, that's when you want to be there. Okay, guys, if you'll allow me, let me take a quick break to remind you guys of our preferred travel partners, GetAwayToday. They are fans of our show, and we are fans of them. If you are planning a trip to the Disneyland Resort or to any Disney theme park, or even to Universal or Alani or anything of that nature, make your travel arrangements through GetAwayToday. We love them. They are fantastic. They are the best in the business at making sure that you get everything you need out of a vacation at a Disneyland Resort, or at the Disneyland Resort, or Walt Disney World, or anywhere you like. Knowledgeable, friendly, kind, and you'll probably get a good deal there. Use the link in our description for GetAwayToday. Let them know we sent you, and I hope you guys enjoy your trip. We'll go to the Galaxy's Edge in the marketplace. Katsaka's Kettle. This is kind of an interesting thing that's happened, really low-key, under the radar. They have taken down the rails. There used to be rails here, like a queue set up for Katsaka's to get your popcorn. They've taken those rails out and instead put in a couple tables and chairs, like 3 tables and chairs, to just give it a little bit more seating. Not gonna lie, the rails at Katsaka's completely unnecessary. There's never a line up there, never more than 2 or 3 guests at a time. So good job putting some tables down there that are obviously desperately needed. Entering Fantasyland. We mentioned this also in our State of Disneyland report. I was really shocked to see this view change. You can always tell when something changes to the horizon, to the landscape of Disneyland. It's always apparent, peripherally. And it kind of shocked me when I saw this. A tree is missing. There should be a tree in that skyline right there at Casey Jr. and there is not. They have dug up a tree right here on that little raised terrace area between Casey Jr. and Dumbo. There was a very wonderful tree that provided shade and cover and just basically aesthetic beauty to that space. And, you know, a tree of any kind is aesthetic to me. I love all trees and I miss them when they're gone. But this tree right here in this planter is gone. Now, I don't think they took it because Disney is a nefarious tree-hating company. I believe they love trees as much as anybody. I'm hoping it's because the tree was sick or something to that effect, or maybe it was a danger of some kind. There was, you know, I mean, this is 2 days. The tree came out 2 days prior to the big winds that blew through here. So maybe it was preemptive for that case. I don't know. I'm hoping it's something like that, but I am also hoping that they find a way to replace that tree in short order. I do believe that they will. It is my expectation that they will. We'll go to Small World next, where while Haunted Mansion is closed to take down the Christmas overlay, Small World is not. Small World is staying up for another couple of weeks, and in that time, Christmas still exists in this part of Fantasyland. All the decorations are still up, and the music is still happening. The facade still has the Santa hat up there, you know, the clock up there, and you can still hear all the Christmas music. It'll be like this for a couple of weeks. Like I said, it's going to close on, I think, the 21st, and then it'll begin another prolonged closure, probably 3 months also, for Small World to pick up on the refurbs that it was doing, that was happening prior to the Christmas holiday. On our way to our next stop, I noticed that the Matterhorn was closed. I walked by the Matterhorn on Wednesday and then again on this Friday. Both times the attraction was closed. It did reopen later on, but I feel like Matterhorn is going through some things. They're having some difficulty with something specific, because both times when I went by, the cast were in the same part of the attraction looking at things. The part of the lift hill right there, I don't know if you can see them here in this picture, but there they are, yeah. But having said that, that could just be them on their way to another part, because you have to walk the whole track. If you want to get to some other part, you can't just go straight there. You have to go through the track like you were on a ride vehicle.
B9 is open.
Yeah, there you go. B9 is open. So perhaps those casts were on their way to B9. Let's see. Yeah, there they go. That's got where they're heading must be B9, I'm guessing. Monorail is closed, you guys. The Monorail has joined the list of attractions that are closing. The Mark Twain and Disneyland Railroad. I don't think that they're doing any updates to the Monorail itself, but one thing we do know is that they are doing something to the downtown Disney entrance of the Monorail. In fact, you can hear, what you're hearing is the sound of them breaking up the concrete. They're destroying the old entrance. I'm guessing they're gonna rebuild the entrance to the Monorail here. But for now, the Disneyland Monorail is currently unavailable. Let's go to DCA, and I was surprised this wasn't announced, or I didn't hear anything about this in advance. But then again, the facade works that they do on Main Street and Buena Vista Street aren't usually announced. But there, yeah, we've got construction walls up and scaffolding up in front of Elias and Company. Probably just routine paint and polish, but I haven't seen any scaffolding up on this building for quite some time. So it's probably going to be a fairly comprehensive paint job that they're doing here. And it's the entirety of, it's everything from Big Top Toys to, well, the whole side, all of it. It is still open. Elias and Company is. It is still open, but yeah, it stretches all the way over there to the, what is it, the Buena Vista Gazette, I think is the name of that. Remember the newspaper, you guys? Remember the newspaper that you used to be able to get on Buena Vista Street over there by the red car trolley? Yeah, that's where it was printed, ostensibly. No Christmas tree here as well. Christmas is gone from DCA and Buena Vista Street as well. Just a regular traditional planter in its place. Grizzly River Run is closed. No water running here. We'll see some more clips of this in a little bit, but the water is off. I always find that disarming. I don't like it when the water isn't running anywhere, like on the Matterhorn. Lunar New Year, the kiosks are up and they've got their facades all set up. I'm looking forward to Lunar New Year. That starts in a week, I think. Actually, I think this starts in a week. I want to try some of these mini char siu pork shanks. I'm thinking about doing everything again this year Well, we haven't done everything at Lunar New Year before, but we're thinking about doing that this year. So stay tuned for Fresh Bake's coverage on Lunar New Year, including the Red Dragon Spice Traders, where you can get a peach, I don't even know how to pronounce that, macchioli cocktail, fire chicken wings with sesame seaweed crunch, spicy gochujang chicken tacos. We'll be trying probably all three of those, is my guess. Garlic noodles. These are traditional ones. You always see the garlic noodles and shrimp lo mein noodles. Favorites are returning at Longevity Noodle Company. But that's just on our way to the Pixar Pal Around because we've got news. There is movement at backstage, Avengers Campus, backstage behind the Avengers headquarters. We reported a few weeks ago that the Timon lot, that is the backstage area there, that was going to close on January 12th, which it still is, but apparently there's movement there already in advance of that. So we're going to climb aboard the Pixar Pal Around and look. But first we'll catch a glimpse of what's happening at Little Mermaid, where they are still working on that ramp. Those walls have been up for weeks now. And it looks like there's a rail there. I'm pretty sure that rail is new. I can't recall. But there you go. We still not much to see the Little Mermaid update happening. Let's see what we can find backstage. Okay, so definitely the lot is still open. You can see vehicles and everything parked there. It looks like they have installed some barriers and the tents are gone. Yeah, this is a shot from early December. You can see all those green tents and everything. Those are gone. But that appears to be the extent of what's missing. Everything else looks to be still in a state of not being used necessarily, but they haven't moved everything out. So far, that's the extent of it. The tents are gone. There's obviously no demo or anything like that happening. That's going to start happening probably in a few weeks. It'll take a few weeks at least. They have to clear all this space out. So that's what we're going to be looking for first, is just removal of everything that's in this space where they're going to build the Avengers e-ticket. This Pixar Pal Around will be our home for the next couple decades. So we'll be here every week to see what's happening next. But there you go. Movement is happening. Things are starting. Avengers e-ticket is on the way at Avengers Campus. One thing where we aren't seeing any movement, one place, is over there on the other side of the Incredicoaster, where we had predicted that we might be seeing the Coco Dark Ride. No signs of them being in any kind of hurry to do anything here. So it's impossible to tell if that's still the accurate possible location for the Coco Dark Ride. But we'll keep looking for any sign of, of that happening. But as for Avengers Campus, yeah, next week the lot will close, and we'll be here to see if there's anything happening on that site. Meanwhile, we'll go to Emotional Whirlwind next door, which also is down for a little while. There's some scaffolding set up around the ride vehicles. I would imagine this is, again, mostly paint and polish or routine maintenance. No major changes are happening here. They do this from time to time. That actually, it wouldn't surprise me if they actually take these things apart, which we've seen them do in the past as well. They'll take them apart, put them back together, or fix them, clean them, paint them, or whatever, then put it back together, which is the nature of this type of attraction. We'll stop real quick at Redwood Creek Challenge at Grizzly Peak to show that the Christmas overlay here has been removed, and guests can now access that area that was once set up for the Santa Claus meet and greet. This area is lovely. I like that you can now access this space. You can go back there and sit down and relax and rest, because gosh knows there's not enough places like that at the Disneyland Resort where you can just sit and relax. But yeah, all the Christmas decorations have been removed. The area is open, obviously, to all guests, and it's classic and original Redwood Creek. Across the way, there you go, Grizzly River Run is closed for an indeterminate amount of time. There are crew right now. They've drained the river, and it looks like they're working on, well, I can't tell what they're working on, but you can see some materials down there on the ground on this side of things. So it's more than just the geysers that are being updated, which is typical, though. Grizzly River Run, often yearly, it goes through a process like this where they have to maintain it in this way. So this is what's happening on the right side of the entrance of Grizzly River Run. And then to the left, walls are up here. We'll take a peek around the corner. And this is the area that has been of primary focus for me for the past couple of years, because these geysers in this area just have not been working right. They were supposed to be repaired last winter, but it didn't work out. Apparently they had the wrong materials for the job and they couldn't fix it the way that they needed to. But right there, that's our area of focus, that little mechanism in the very center of your screen right there. That's the geyser that the rafts would go over. And occasionally your raft would be hit by a very strong geyser. There's another one on the other side of those rocks. It's more for show, but both have been inoperable for, over a year at least, maybe longer. And then on the far left, this is the last drop. Water's been drained, and it's just sort of this quiet sort of, it's just, the area, the Grizzly Peak is not the same without the movement of Grizzly River Run. That's for sure. We're going to make one last stop at Cars Land. Mater's. Half the attraction was closed when I arrived. I don't think this is a permanent condition. I don't think this is a refurb. I think that they might have just had some down tractors. There you can see some crew working feverishly on that side. So I don't expect this to be an ongoing thing. You can see that the other half was running and operating. Know that when you see this, though, when you see one side operating and the other not, that's going to double your wait time. When they see I have a posted 25-minute wait time, normally that queue that you're looking at would be considered a 15-minute wait or a 10-minute wait. But when they're running on half the vehicles, that's twice as long. Cars Land is also without Christmas decorations. Classic original Cars Land as well, Route 66. Not a lot of movement here at the Cozy Cones where we've been watching them build something. We're not sure still yet exactly. Disney has not said what they're doing here. The rumors are that they're building a single point of purchase location. You buy, all of your coned food items at the one location and go pick them up at the individual cones. There's the space right there. This is not going very quickly. They've been slow going here. So we're standing by for that, waiting to see what this winds up looking like and how effective it'll be. Hopefully it is for the better. Most of the decisions that they've been making in this regard have been quality. So I'm confident that they're gonna make a good choice here and turn that into a more efficient operation. Slow day around the parks today, so I just wanted to check in on Radiator Springs Racers, 55 minutes. Not bad. And then we'll wrap at a little downtown Disney on our way out. No movement whatsoever at Earl of Sandwich here. This is going to be demoed at some point to make way for Portos, but we are still Earl of Sandwich and will be that way for a little while, I would guess. I had asked in previous updates, are they going to make this signage a little bit more colorful and graphic? And it looks like they have. There's some new elements installed there, a donut, I think, and some candy treats, etc. There's a mini shaped cookie or lollipop of some kind. Last week, those items were not there. Hoping that this location opens up soon. And with that, we'll wrap up with a summation of the refurbs that are ongoing at the park right now. Great moments with Mr. Lincoln. It's been well documented. We should expect that back in May. The meet and greet, the Tinkerbell meet and greet at Pixie Hollow. Still no date. It's closed. Everything else you could walk through there, but the actual meet and greet is still closed and no date has been updated. That's going as far into the future as February of this year. Monorail is closed. No update, no known return date for that as well. Haunted Mansion closed, obviously reopening on January 18th. Jolly Holiday closed, reopening, we don't know yet. There's no known date for that as well. Same for the Disneyland Railroad. Same for It's a Small World. All of this stuff is open-ended. We have only one date known, and that's for the Haunted Mansion. Same for Grizzly River Run. It's been closed now for a couple of days. No known date for that to reopen, although, again, that's pretty typical. When Grizzly River Run closes during the winter, it's usually for at least a month or so, probably more. And then Inside Out Emotional World, when we do have a date, it's closed, but reopening on January 24th. That is our show, Fresh Baked. I thank you guys very much for watching. If you like this show and want to show your support, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/freshbaked. You can join us on our newsletter. There's a link in the description. Updates on, additional updates from around the park, especially recon, that kind of thing. I love to do recon stuff in those newsletter updates. Then follow us on Instagram at _freshbaked, on Twitter at freshbakedisney, that's fresh with no E, and on TikTok at freshbakedisney. Thanks for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh Baked.